Hello, kings, queens, prince, and princess. Hello, um, honeymooners. My name is Honey, and I'm here to bring you some words of wisdom. I hope you're ready. And happy Ask Honey. On Ask Honeys, we do a Bible study. So I'm going to get right into it. We're talking about self mastery. This is so important. That's making sure that you do that inner work to be prepared to be that man or woman or young boy or girl that God is calling you to be. How can we do this, honey? It's by taking um, time to know that every 24 hours is a great opportunity to be very intentional to become a better you, because that intentionality is what's going to help you um, master your inner being. You need that discipline so that you can gain trust in who you are, so that you can be all that you need to be in the now. But when we avoid the self work, then we become a hindrance to what the world needs. And instead of things thriving around us, things begin to die. And we see these famines happen. But when we stand in our full glory, I would like to submit to your consideration that everything lives around you. Because now everything the world understands that you have dominion as a son or daughter of the king. So, why self mastery is so important is because when you master here your thoughts, then you can conduct yourself in such a way that even your tongue, your ears, your eyes, your mind, your heart, your hands, and your feet only move after discerning what your spirit man says to be okay. You refuse to move without being in alignment with the king. Now, if you really love you and you really value your time, you will not waste time on entertaining distractions that will only leave you distraught. But if you do value yourself and you see yourself as an asset, let me bring something to your attention. Our brother Joseph. Joseph was a man of great character, a discerning and wise man. He was a man of vision, a man that could interpret dreams. Because he was so gifted, he was so valuable. How did he become so gifted? Because he went through a season of self-mastery. No matter what season he was in, he learned how to serve that season well. When he was hated by his brothers, he became great at brotherly love. When he was in prison, because he wouldn't commit adultery to the king's wife, what did he do? He became a guard. He became a leader in the prison. And then he still allowed God to use his gifts and talents and treasures to interpret dreams. He didn't use that time soaking. He didn't use that time complaining. He used his time well to train up other people and to raise their mindsets that God was still alive and well. Because he opted to do those things, there was a king that needed just one man to interpret his dream, and Joseph was that man. And there was a man that Joseph interpreted his dream, which was a butler. And when that butler was restored to his rightful position, he remembered Joseph as Joseph requested and said, when it's good with your soul, Make sure you tell that king that it was I that gave you that vision and interpret that dream for you. So the king brought him out. He cleaned himself up. And the first thing he did, it says, God will give Pharaoh an answer of peace when he needed an answer for his dreams. See, all men and women of God, sons and daughters, they will always reference God for their greatness and goodness. That's one way that you can identify God's kingdom children. He interprets the dream, and the king said, what shall I do with this dream that you have? Because it was above his comprehension. And Joseph says to him, you need a discerning and a wise man. And the king said, who is greater than yourself? So it will be you. When the king declared Joseph to be the next man under his rule and his reign, and his go-to right-hand man, the earth began to celebrate because the earth is waiting for the sons of God to be revealed. And what the earth began to do, they began to birth food from the ground. Joseph inherited a wife that same day. The grounds began to sprout up for 7 years straight, honoring this man of God. And Pharaoh said to him in verse 39 in chapter 41 in the book of Genesis, it says, then Pharaoh said to Joseph, inasmuch as God has shown you all this, there is no one as discerning as wise as you. You shall be over my house, and all my people shall be ruled according to your word. Only in regard to the throne will I be greater than you. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, see, I have set you over all the land of Egypt. I want to say this to somebody and submit to your consideration. If you're long-suffering with God and you feel as though you are in a prison and you are in this valley and you're calling out to the Holy Spirit, understand you don't have to do anything wrong for God to deny you the right to be delivered in your timely manner. See, God does everything in his fashion to make sure that you're fully prepared for your next. And God needs to see how you respond when the heat is on your back. And because he responded well to the imprisonment, guess what? He became a governor. And all the women and the men that thought it was funny that he was in a jail and that he had to start from the bottom again, guess what? They had to come through Joseph to receive their promise and to be fed. And even the king had to say, you shall be over my house, and all my people shall be ruled according to your word. Only in regard to the throne will I be greater than you. See, some people already know that they're not greater than you. And the only way that they'll announce it is by putting you in position. Because let me tell you about God's agenda. Everyone else tried to bring forth change and no change happened. The only change that will happen is through God's sons and daughters. That's why self-mastery is very important. Every day you have to tell yourself, I will, I shall, and I can overcome. Overcome your mind by taking captive every thought. How do you do this? Worship, rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing, and in everything you do, give thanks. And you will find that in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 16 through 18. Because this is the will of God concerning our lives, that we move like we have inner mastery. Because the foolish will be separated from the wise. And I be a wise woman by the name of Hunny. The Hunny that goes by the H to the U to the N and Y. Encouraging all God's kids to stay up, stay blessed, and stay encouraged. And if you want to be a man or woman of God that's excellent, then baby, you have to long suffer. Get ready and stay up. Take care.
Silence, silence. For when Hunny speaks, Hunny reaches way down for the lost. Who I be? I be the H to the U to the N and Y. I am just a swagged up nerd who's good with words. Wildly absurd how I